Political leaders, executives, and VIPs routinely employ the services of professional drivers who have been trained in the art of evasive driving. The professional driver is part of a security force that protects the elite from kidnappers, terrorists, and demented fans. Not long ago, the only people who needed to be concerned with defensive security measures were high-ranking VIPs. Realistically speaking, no one is immune from such crimes today. In the real world, there is no difference between a carjacking and a kidnapping, between a smash and grab and an ambush, or between a drive-by shooting and an assassination. Violent acts against motorists are reported daily as America's fastest-growing crime wave spreads. Let's face it, if street thugs are going to shoot you for your car, you need to know how to use your vehicle as a defensive weapon to stop them. Tony Scotty's School of Defensive Driving is the world's top evasive driving school. The school's mobile training units serve as high-ranking corporate and government personnel in 23 countries on 5 continents. In the classroom and on the track, professional bodyguards learn how to deliver their important passengers safely while under the constant threat of attack. Because urban drivers are now faced with the same dangers and problems that high-security drivers face, they need to be armed with the same information that professionals use to stop trouble before it starts. This film is not designed to take the place of professional driving instruction and supervised practice. It is designed to give drivers an overview of the types of skills that are needed to survive a crisis situation. This film should be viewed as a catalyst to motivate drivers to seek professional help, to upgrade their driving skills. You may never need to use your car as a defensive weapon to save your life, but it's nice to know you could. When you're driving your car, the criminal will first try to stop you in order to attack you. He may use a number of methods to achieve this goal. The easiest method to defend against is the roadblock. You have a lot of options. If you observe the block well enough in advance, you can break into a bootlegger turn. If the road behind you is clear, you can go backwards and do a J-turn. You can often drive around the obstruction if you have enough room. Even when all exits are blocked, you are not without recourse. You're sitting in a 4,000-pound projectile. At just 10 miles per hour, you develop 160,000 foot-pounds of energy. You can ram forward and knock the vehicle out of your way very easily. Not every attacker will rely on blocking the roadway. Less frequent but still serious is the attack from a moving vehicle. Your best defense against the moving attack is tactically ramming the aggressor, forcing him off the road. All of these options are very real, but you must have training and practice to execute them properly. Understand that once an attack starts, the odds are in favor of the attacker. Your choices and options become limited. The key is not to panic. Panic is only the absence of training. If a person is trained to react, he won't panic. Therefore, it is critical that you train to achieve a conditioned response in any given situation. Your attacker is counting on the element of surprise. If you sit there in shock for even 5 seconds, contemplating what to do, it's all over. In 5 seconds, a good driver can get a car backed up a good distance, spin it around, and drive off. The best thing you can do to protect yourself in a crisis is to learn how to react rather than panic. There are 5 fatal mistakes that even professional drivers sometimes make. These are errors that can cost you your life. Becoming complacent. A driver will become complacent over a period of time driving the same route. You'll lose awareness and fail to maintain the good driving posture which gives you an ability to react to a situation. Not reacting. This is exactly what your attacker wants you to do. By not reacting, you are playing into their hands. Do something, even if it's not by the book. Not allowing an exit point. Allowing yourself to be boxed in with no room to maneuver around an obstacle. A good rule of thumb is to always make sure you can make visual contact with the two tires on the vehicle ahead of you. This will give you sufficient room to go around to the left or the right. Vehicle location. Failure to note escape areas along your route or failure to note the location of the equipment inside your car can be fatal. You need to be aware of your gear locations so that you instinctively know how many points to shift up or down. You may not have the time to take your eyes off the road in an emergency. Lack of skills. The driver frequently does not have even the most basic skills. You must have the advanced training to execute these maneuvers. Without training and practice, you will be ineffective in a hostile situation. The Scotty School teaches a maneuver called the brake and turn. This method stops a car at 50 miles per hour very quickly by utilizing rapid pumping motions of the brake and optimizing the vehicle's steering. Upon recognizing a problem, the brakes are hit immediately and violently. This immediately drops 8 to 10 miles per hour off the vehicle's speed. The brakes are then pumped continually, very rapidly. Try to get at least 5 good hits on the brakes. Do not pat the brakes lightly. You must be very violent with this maneuver. As the vehicle is braked, the weight is transferred forward to the front tires. This is what causes the front wheels to lock and begin to slide. When you release the brake, the wheels will once again rotate as the momentum carries the vehicle forward. The success of this method relies upon hitting the brake as hard and as rapidly as possible, and in continuing to brake this way until the vehicle comes to a complete stop. This maneuver optimizes the braking, which is about 85% brake and 15% turn. An anti-lock braking system does this for you automatically through computers, but not every car has this feature. As you learn how to stop a car quickly, you can never overlook the fact that the wheels may lock up. You must learn how to unlock the wheels in order to regain your steering. In ambush after ambush, the drivers put their foot on the brakes and locked up the wheels, crashing into whatever obstacle they were trying to avoid. Always remember, if you ever lock up your wheels, get your foot momentarily off the brake so that you can regain your steering. Tire pressure plays an important role in braking. The white concrete residue shows us what part of this tire was in contact with the road when the car was in a skid. 4 such patches of about 21 square inches are all that supports a typical 4,000-pound car. What makes these patches larger or smaller is tire pressure. The lower the tire pressure, the smaller this patch would be. Tires should be filled to the correct maximum tire pressure as specified and stamped on the side of every tire. You have to have the right amount of air in the tires to stop a vehicle efficiently. The bootlegger turn is a forward 180 made by utilizing the handbrake. It is used to quickly reverse direction and escape when the road ahead is blocked. As you travel toward the obstacle or ambush site, reduce your speed to approximately 25 miles per hour. As you reach this speed, apply the emergency brake very hard. This will cause your rear wheels to lock. When you hear the squeal, turn the wheel. Turn it hard, keeping the emergency brake on until the car is pointed in the direction you want to go. Once you are pointed in the correct direction, release the emergency brake and step lightly onto the gas to accelerate out of the danger area. The bootlegger turn is a very simple maneuver, but there are several common mistakes to avoid. Applying the emergency brake at too fast a speed. This could cause permanent damage to the vehicle, disabling it and leaving you stranded. Always reduce your speed to approximately 25 miles per hour before attempting the bootlegger turn. Turning the wheel too hard. This will cause the vehicle to spin too abruptly. Accelerating too hard. Using too much gas when coming out of the braking situation can cause excessive wheel spin. Coming off the emergency brake too soon. Your vehicle is going to go forward whichever way the front wheels are pointed as soon as you release the emergency brake. Make sure the vehicle is headed in the direction you want it to go before you come off the emergency brake. The J-turn is used to quickly reverse directions and exit to the rear in the case of a sudden ambush. Immediately and violently hit the brakes while maintaining control with your hands at the 3 and 9 o'clock steering position. As soon as the vehicle has stopped, shift from drive to reverse. There should be 2 distinct gear movements, from drive to neutral and from neutral to reverse. This is an example of the importance of being aware of vehicle location at all times. Once in reverse, check the mirror to make sure nothing has blocked your exit to the rear. Then, accelerate as rapidly as possible without losing traction. As you move backwards, move your hands to palm down, thumb down, with the left hand beneath the right hand at approximately the 4 o'clock position. As you gain momentum and speed, come off the accelerator and turn the wheel as rapidly and violently as you can. Aggressiveness is the key. Try to throw the wheel out the window. As the vehicle spins around, when you are about 90 degrees from your starting position, use your right hand to drop the car into any forward gear. As you continue to come around, press lightly on the accelerator and the vehicle will straighten itself out. There are many mistakes an unskilled driver will make while attempting the J-turn. The most common mistake is not knowing where reverse is and ending up in neutral or park. Another common mistake is failing to check the rear view mirror. If your rear exit point is blocked, you will have to switch to an alternate escape method. Other mistakes include failure to come off the accelerator and not turning the wheel rapidly enough. Because of the many synchronized movements involved in the J-turn, this maneuver requires considerable practice to get it right. If you don't shift at the right time, the vehicle will continue to spin. If you accelerate too hard as you straighten up, you create excessive wheel spin and lose traction. This gives your attacker time to react. A J-turn, when executed properly, should get you quickly and efficiently out of harm's way, leaving your adversary to wonder what happened. In a situation where there is no way out to the side or rear, ramming is your only alternative. You are no longer driving in terms of miles per hour. You have entered the realm of feet per second. Your objective is not to hit the vehicle and smack it out of the way. Your goal is to use your car as a bulldozer and push the vehicle out of your path. In order to achieve your goal, it's important to choose the right contact points on the vehicles involved. Because there is more weight in the engine compartment, the path of least resistance is the rear end of the vehicle you intend to ram. If you have the option, always hit the car to the rear. A car may be successfully rammed from the front, but the added weight adds a lot more traction. Once you have decided where to ram the vehicle, alignment becomes important. Hit the car squarely on the axle, not in the bumper area, fender area, or side panel. The axle is solid and will not absorb the shock into the vehicle. Therefore, the force that you apply will cause the vehicle to move out of the way. Make sure that the contact point on your vehicle is the strongest point on your car. Once again, the axle. As you approach the ambush site, your attacker believes that you will stop because there is no way out. As you approach, decrease your speed as if you are going to stop. When you're approximately 2 car lengths away, abruptly hit the brakes. This will cause the front end of your vehicle to dip down. As the bumper rises, aim your axle at your chosen target point and shift into the lowest possible gear. Maintain good steering control with your left hand and hold the right hand on the gear shift lever to prevent it from popping out of gear upon impact. Accelerate to the floor, moving all the way through the obstacle. If the other vehicle hangs up on your car as you drive through, just shake the steering wheel to dislodge it as you continue on. At all costs, do not stop. Upon impact, or just prior to impact, people have a tendency to want to veer off. You must fight that tendency. Don't be afraid of the noise. Don't be afraid of the impact. If you veer off target, the fender will absorb the impact and you will lose the power to move the vehicle out of your way. The double car ram is similar to the single car ram in most aspects. The difference is in the point of impact. In the two-vehicle ram, you will be driving between the two blocking vehicles at the point of least resistance. The point of least resistance is where these two vehicles meet. Mentally divide your car in half so that you can position the center of your car to go in the area between the two blocking cars. Your front wheels will push the cars aside, allowing you an opening to drive through. The same driving techniques apply as with the single car ram. Decelerate upon approaching the blockade. At a distance of 2 car lengths away, brake hard and bring the car to a halt. As the bumper rises, aim the center of the car on the target point and shift into the lowest possible gear. Maintain good steering control with your left hand and hold the right hand on the gear shift lever to prevent it from popping out of gear upon impact. Accelerate to the floor, moving all the way through the obstacles. Do not let up on the accelerator. You must maintain full acceleration to complete the ram. If either vehicle becomes hung on the side of your car, jerk the steering wheel to shake it loose as you continue forward. The most important thing to remember is never stop. Never freeze. Always do something. The final tactical driving technique is the moving ram. This maneuver is used to stop an attacker in a moving vehicle. This is a very simple maneuver. As the attack vehicle starts to pass you, watch for the moment that its right rear tire is even with your front tire. This is the moment you can nudge him out of your way. You should make contact with the bumper of his car just to the rear of his rear tire. Bump his vehicle anywhere between the bumper and the tire, and his vehicle will come around and spin off the road in front of you. Come lightly off the gas and go around him on your way. The greater your speed at the time you bump him, the faster and more violent his spin out will be. He has no control over it once he's bumped, and he cannot brake to avoid it. The effectiveness of this maneuver depends upon you hitting the attack vehicle in the correct spot. If you hit the car too far forward, it will turn sideways and stop instead of continuing to spin out of your way. You will probably end up hitting the vehicle, causing you to slow down or stop. Make sure that once the car starts to pass, you wait until its rear wheel reaches your front bumper before you initiate the ram. In a confrontation situation, you should never stop your vehicle. Keep moving at all costs. It is much more difficult to engage a moving target. The object is to get as much distance between you and your opponent as possible. At just 10 miles per hour, you are traveling at 15 feet per second. This can be the determining factor between a fatal round and a round that bounces off the side of a vehicle. That is why it is imperative to keep the vehicle moving as long as you possibly can. Your goal should always be to get out of the area. Ambushes don't occur in miles, they don't happen in hours. They happen in feet, and they happen in seconds. This is why it's important to learn the relationship of time and distance. Unless you understand this relationship, you can only guess at what your options are in a crisis situation. To figure how many feet you are traveling per second, multiply your speed by 1.5. At 30 miles per hour, you would be going 45 feet per second. If you are traveling 30 miles per hour and something happens 90 feet up the road, the time and distance relationship dictates your options. Do you have time to stop? Do you have time to do the J-turn? Do you have time to do the bootlegger turn? Or should you realize that you don't have time for any of these and you need to drive through them? It's just quick arithmetic. You may be the greatest driver in the world when it comes to performing the J-turn, but if you don't give yourself enough time and enough distance to do it, skill won't help you at all. Tactical driving, like any other life-saving skill, requires professional training and supervised practice. A little knowledge can be a dangerous thing. While the driving techniques in this video are designed to save lives, used incorrectly, they can cause permanent injury and serious property damage. This tape is designed as an overview of the skills taught in professional driver training programs. The actual driving courses include classroom studies and supervised hands-on practice. Viewing this video is not a substitute for this type of professional driver's training. If you are interested in taking a course in tactical driving, contact the Scotty School for more information.
The driving system includes the man, the machine, and the environment. We make sure that our car's running. We check tire pressures. We make sure it's in good working order. We got to do the same thing with our bodies. Our bodies have to be in good working order. They cannot be impaired by alcohol or by drugs. If you spend a couple of hours the night before a job sitting in a bar, that is not only irresponsible, it's unprofessional, and it could be fatal.